Some stories are so strange they stick in our minds for decades or even centuries. Today, we're looking at three legends with staying power: a vanishing hitchhiker who leaves behind only wet footprints, a prowler with scissors instead of a weapon, and a trail of hoof prints in the snow that no one can explain. The Lady of White Rock Lake. In Dallas, Texas, USA, the road by White Rock Lake is said to be haunted by a woman soaked in a white dress. Drivers tell the same eerie story. They see her standing by the roadside at night, flagging them down. When they stop, she asks for a ride home. She's saying she's been in a boating accident. But somewhere along the way, she vanishes. The only sign that she was ever there: a damp seat or wet footprints leading to nowhere. This tale has been told since the 1940s. The earliest written account was by a woman named Anne Clark, titled The Ghost of White Rock. Clark's brief story was included in the Texas Folklore Society's 1943 publication, Backwoods to Border. It read, "One hot July night, a young city couple, having driven out and parked on the shore of White Rock Lake, switched on the headlights of the car and saw a white figure approaching. As the figure came straight to the driver's window, they saw it was a young girl dressed in a sheer white dress that was dripping wet. She spoke in a somewhat faltering voice. 'I'm sorry to intrude. I would not under any other circumstances, but I must find a way home immediately. I was in a boat that overturned. The others are safe, but I must get home.' She climbed into the rumble seat, saying that she did not wish to get the young lady wet, and gave them an address in Oak Cliff, on the opposite side of Dallas. The young couple felt an uneasiness concerning their strange passenger, and as they neared the destination, the girl, to avoid hunting the address, turned to the rumble seat to ask directions. The rumble seat was empty, but still wet. After a brief futile search for the girl on white, the couple went to the address she had given and were met at the door by a man whose face showed lines of worry. When he had heard the couple's story, the man replied in a troubled voice, 'This is a very strange thing. You are the third couple who has come to me with this story. 3 weeks ago, while sailing on White Rock Lake, my daughter was drowned.' A similar story in 1953 was included in Dallas author Frank X. Talbot's book, Neiman Marcus, Texas, The Story of a Proud Dallas Store. Another account of a beautiful blonde girl appearing on the road near Dallas's White Rock Lake. A couple picks them up to help her home, but mid-journey, she disappears. The house she requested to return to was the home of a man who said that his daughter had drowned off a pier years before at White Rock Lake. I found on the website watermelon-kid.com, Stephen Butler writes about looking for factual information about the people in these stories. Was the Lady of the Lake a real person? Did a woman actually drown in a lake? Well, apparently yes. In 1935, a woman named Louise Ford Davis did take her own life in the lake. In 1942, another woman named Rose Stone of Texas also drowned in the lake. Could Louise Davis or Rose Stone be the restless spirit said to haunt the lake? Is it the girl who drowned off the pier and is trying to get home? There are more accounts and accidents of drownings at White Rock Lake, and maybe there is a paranormal presence in the area just based on these tragedies. Maybe this is why lore has persisted through time. Locals report feeling and seeing strange things in the area, adding to the urban legend of something haunting the lake and the area around it. Whether it's a ghost or just a well-loved ghost story, the Lady of White Rock Lake remains Dallas's most famous phantoms. The Phantom Barber of Pascagoula. Pascagoula, Mississippi, USA, June 1942. A town abuzz with warship construction is suddenly gripped not by enemy bomb, but by a stranger more unnerving. Someone who sneaks into bedrooms not to steal, but to cut hair from their sleeping victims. The population had tripled due to nearby Ingalls shipyard creating tension and amenity and blackout conditions that became the perfect cover for the invader. The first documented victims were Mary Evelyn Briggs, 11, and Edna Marie Heidel, 12, students at the Our Lady of Victoria's convent. The girls worked to find hair missing, and Mary described the intruder as sort of short, sort of fat. Bending over her was something shiny. The prowler had sliced open the window screen and vanished. Soon after, 6-year-old Carol Petey, sleeping beside her twin, was targeted. This time, the intruder left behind a sandy footprint on an empty bed. For weeks, more homes were invaded, all in the dead of night, and the only thing taken was a few strands of hair. No valuables, no ransom notes, just hair. The town's fear grew. Women refused to go out after dark. Men quit night shifts at the shipyard to protect their families. Police hiked up their efforts and offered a $300 reward, equivalent to about $5,400 today. Then came a violent shift. On August 10th, 1942, the Heidelberg family was attacked with an iron bar. Mrs. Heidelberg lost front teeth. Mr. Heidelberg was knocked unconscious. This marked a terrifying leap from uncanny curiosity to real danger. Next, Mrs. R.R. Taylor awoke to a disturbing smell, later thought to be chloroform. She felt terribly ill and discovered her head had been shaved. Authorities enlisted Pinkerton detectives and bloodhounds in the hunt. One trace led to William A. Dolan, a 57-year-old German-educated chemist with known German sympathies. At Dolan's home, police found a bundle of hair, barber scissors, and some reports say a chloroform-soaked cloth. He was quickly tried and convicted of the Heidelberg attack, attempted murder, not hair snipping, and sentenced to 10 years in Parchman Prison. 6 years later, Governor Fielding Wright reviewed Dolan's case. After Dolan passed the lie detector test, his sentence was suspended. In 1951, he was pardoned, prompting lingering doubts about his guilt. Dolan moved away, became frustrated, vanished, and was later mistakenly identified as a body found in the Mississippi River. The fingerprints didn't match. He resurfaced in California in 1954, alive, but arrested for vagrancy. Creepy as it is, the haircutting stopped after Dolan's arrest. Yet whether he was truly the Phantom Barber or a convenient scapegoat remains unsolved. Speculations range from wartime sabotage, undermining worker morale, a psychological compulsion or fetish, Wiccan-style hex rituals using hair, or a prank gone out of control. So is William Dolan the hair-snipping phantom, or just a convenient fall guy? And if not him, who was? And could they still be out there, watching, maybe ready to shed more than hair next time? The night grew quiet once these events stopped, but the real terror never quite left. The Devil's Footprints. February 8th, 1855, Devon, England. An unusually bitter winter had settled in. Snowfalls piled up night after night, no thaw to soften them, but the following morning across East and South Devon, townsfolk discovered something strange. Footprints appeared across more than 30 locations, from Exmouth to Topsham, across the Exe estuary to Dawlish and Tynemouth, maybe even as far as Weymouth and Lincolnshire. Combined, estimates put the trail at 40 to over 100 miles, though modern skeptics view that as an aggregation of shorter paths, not one long trail. Each print was eerily precise, about 4 inches long, 3 inches wide, almost perfectly hoof-like, but the spacing just 8 to 16 inches apart, and in a single file line that defied gravity and geography. The tracks passed over rooftops, through narrow draining pipes, some only 4 inches wide, across frozen rivers, and over high walls and haystacks. One account claimed the prints spanned a 2-mile stretch of the River Exe and reappeared on the other side, as if the ground itself had sprouted hooves. Villagers shuddered. The local paper spoke of a creature endowed with the power of ubiquity. Priests murmured about the devil. Townsfolk refused to leave their homes at dusk. A letter in the Exeter and Plymouth Gazette describes the prints as the work of some most busy and mysterious animal endowed with the power of ubiquity. Reports have flooded the papers. Superstitious go so as far to believe they are the marks of Satan himself. The prints became a source of deep fear. Children stayed close, church attendance rose, and the countryside felt haunted. Evidence was sparse. No known creature, no tool, just icy hoof-shaped marks, and the trail as confounding as it was cold. Surviving documents turned up only in 1950 when Reverend Henry Thomas Ellicotte's papers were found. Letters, tracing of prints, and unpublished reports to the Illustrated London News. Historian Mike Dash later compiled these in The Devil's Hoof Marks, source material on the Great Devon Mystery of 1855, admitting no single explanation accounts for all of it. And here's the twist: none of the theories satisfy fully. From rodents to kangaroos to mischief, each seems plausible and implausible. Hopping rodents. Wood mice, when landing their hind and forepaws, produce a cloven foot-like print. Dash credits this as an credible but incomplete explanation. Badgers, proposed by Richard Owen in Illustrated London News, based on their unusual tracks, but unlikely to scale rooftops or cross rivers. Kangaroos. Reverend Musgrove joked they escaped from a private menagerie, a distraction tactic rather than a serious theory. Experimental balloon. Allegedly dragged chains that printed the tracks as it drifted overhead, a theory too fanciful to fully credit. Hoax or mass hysteria. Perhaps people misinterpreted animal tracks, or local pranksters took advantage of February's frost. Still, that doesn't explain the rooftop or river prints. So, what wandered across the Devil's Snow that night? Did Satan himself step through South England? Or was it something entirely earthly, yet never fully caught or understood? Even today, the Devil's footprints remain one of the most chilling reminders that nature or myth can leave clues that refuse to be explained. 3 mysteries, 0 answers. Which one intrigues you the most? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more strange and true stories every week.